So I just started journaling back in the fall, like September, October, and I've been trying to figure out a way to organize my stickers. And I thought maybe using these zippery binders, I saw someone on YouTube use these, would be a good starting point. So I had one, but then it got so full. These weren't expensive. I think the binders were like $7 on Amazon, and I can't remember how much the zipper baggy things were, but they weren't a lot either. So as you can see, I'm trying to organize it by like seasons and holidays, and then I have one that I'm putting like plants in, and I believe I'm gonna put like some animal ones in there, like cats and woodland stuff. I don't like having them all bunched up together because in that messy one binder, because I can't find anything, and if I can't find it, then I don't want to journal. So if it's organized and I can find things that I want, I think it will make journaling so much more fun. This is my printer. It's the Liene printer, Liene. I watched many YouTube videos to see what printer was deemed best for small, pictures like 4x6 size, and this was at the top of the pack. So I actually was so fortunate to find this on Facebook, brand new for only $45. I think it runs maybe like 150, and then you do have to buy the cartridges, but I mean, for as many pictures as you print, you can put a lot on one sheet if you're doing the small book covers, so it's not really that expensive, and I like them better than just printing them on a copier. So I read 6 books in January, and I kind of wanted to give it that wintry feel, so I picked out the paper that's like the ice blue with looks kind of like snowflakes on it, and I wanted to kind of give it a balanced but asymmetrical look. And as always, no judgment in this zone on journaling, because it's supposed to be fun, not a work of art. So sometimes I sketch stuff out with pencil just so that I can kind of get an idea of what I'm doing. And other times I just kind of freehand things. But again, no judgment here. I love these stamps. You peel them off and you put them on the little block, and then you can see where the letter is going once you've put the ink on. So you have to purchase the blocks separately. They come in like all different sizes depending on the size of the stamp, but they work really well. And like I said, you can definitely see where it's going. I don't like that with other stamps where you can't see where the stamps are going to end up, or if there's too much ink on there, etc. So I really do enjoy those, and I think they come out looking really nicely. Okay, so just to give you a wrap up of what I've been doing, this is my TBR. Of course, Juno decided to join us for this. These are the ones that I own, and I've been tracking them with color coded of when I've read them. So I'm trying to really focus on these and get these read instead of buying new books. But of course that's hard, and there's always new books that come out. So but I'm really trying to either unhaul some of these that I don't think I'm ever going to read, or just read what I have. So there's that. And I added some more book quotes from some books that I have been reading and enjoying. I have to pick my January read and soon my February read, which I will do soon. And I've been marking off my series as I read them. So I've marked off the second spell shot because I just finished the Enchanted Greenhouse. And I've been writing down, again, color coding the books I read, whether it's an audio book or a regular paper book. I don't typically do Kindles. I don't enjoy reading on those. So I've been color coding those too, like by month that I've read them. And my quotes. Any rereads that I do, which I haven't done any yet. This is my January pile of possibilities, which I did read some, but not all of them. And then I did a spread for the Starless Sea, which you might have seen in a previous video. I did some quotes, and I really, really enjoyed this book. It was different than anything I've ever read before. It was really beautifully written, and it's definitely a reread for me because I think there were so many key elements and themes and parallel stories that I think that this book can be enjoyed over and over again. And there were so many great quotes, life advice quotes that were just so imaginatively woven through the stories. This book is for all who love stories and books and libraries. And then I did my page on my January reads, which I read Library Girl, which I talked about in a previous video. I really enjoyed that one. I read I Killed the King, and I had the pleasure of meeting Rebecca Mix at the book festival in Harbor Springs in 2025. That was a romantasy mystery for Castle and Renaissance lovers. There were a dozen or so characters that could have killed the king, but who didn't. You have to figure out, each chapter is titled with how many hours are left to solve the case. So I look forward to more of her writing. And then I shot through the book on audio. I started this Lighthouse series, oh geez, I think it was during COVID. So I always listen to them on audio. I like the person that reads them. And to me, it's not a book you have to pay super attention to, so I can do it while I'm doing other tasks. It is just such a nice, refreshing, cozy mystery. The main character starts out living in the attic of the Lighthouse Library in North Carolina, and she solves all these mysteries. And she has a cat named Charles, after Charles Dickens, because he's the library cat. And so it's just a comfort read for me because, like I said, I did start listening to them during COVID, and I really enjoyed them. And then, of course, I just talked about the Starless Sea. And I also read the Encyclopedia of Fairies, which I loved. I loved that setting and that time period. And I found myself laughing out loud at the relationships that form between Emily and Wendell. I could definitely see this book being made into a series or a movie or a Ghibli movie. I also found the lore of the fairy realm interesting, and her academic approach to cataloging them. I found that very interesting. I will definitely be reading the rest of that series. And then I read this book, and I had all these stickers for the plants, and I just had to do the spread because I actually read this in February, but it's The Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Durst. Second book to The Spell Shop. And I loved the settings. I love plants, so I really loved the setting. It was like super wintry outside in the book. On this island, it was freezing, and then they had these enchanted greenhouses where these plants lived, and there was so many of them. And they could grow tomatoes in the winter, like just different stuff. And they were sentient, meaning they could talk, and some of them sang. They all had different personalities. It was just so good. I so enjoyed that setting. That is all that I've gotten up to so far. So we will check back again later. Thanks for joining me.